Seriously? God damn it. I hate that. All right. Moving on before I freaking have a aneurysm. Where is it? Okay. So we got news this past week. Actually, hang on. Let me go ahead. There we go. We got news on this past week. Finally, we got information about the Nintendo Online service and the details regarding that. Much of what was thought of as speculative was finally unveiled by Nintendo this past week. And I'll go straight into, I think, what most people wanted to know is the pricing and the online functions of what it does or what it can offer. One, for the pricing, for a month, $4 a month, you can pay for $4 a month. For 3 months, you can pay $8. For a full year, you get $20. And they have some special family membership program where you can do $35 a year, but it gives you access to 8 different accounts on the Nintendo Switch that you can access any given time. Or you can give or have one yourself and then give to whoever. Other things, and they actually made a bullet point for me to actually take a look at this, makes it easy for me to really look at what they're offering. So for people who are non-subscribers, you'll still have access to Nintendo parental control apps, share screenshots to social media, register and manage friends, access Nintendo eShop, and Nintendo Switch system and software updates. What you don't get when the subscription goes online on this September, special offers, save data cloud backup, the NES Nintendo Switch Online service in terms of like old classic games you get to keep or buy, Nintendo Switch Online app, and the online gameplay. So you can do some things, but not a whole lot. And again, the price is not that steep to really do a year. It's actually, compared to the other consoles right now, it's pretty on the low side and pretty cheap. So I wouldn't see any
Well,
problems
I mean,
there.
I've talked about before that when a studio or a company has to charge for their online service, it's because it costs money to run servers. It just does.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
And in terms of in terms of what Nintendo's doing, I think is really cool. They a lot of their games aren't necessarily like Splatoon and Mario Kart are the only two games I can think of that are online based, and so the money I'm sure is going to that
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that games like that keep running functionally. The everything else that they've added in is just icing on the cake, really. The cloud service thing is awesome, and they didn't have to do that, but they're doing it.
Right,
Um,
right, right.
the NES or just classic games in general being delivered to us in that fashion, again, didn't have to, absolutely did not have to, but I think it's awesome they're doing it. Um, uh, what else was there added? There was there was something else, but like I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be a really good service, especially with how cheap it is. Um,
Yeah. I think the one thing to keep in mind, like, it's the servers are going to get packed on the day of and for at least a good month or two, because when that thing hits, a lot of people are going to be on it, and you're going to definitely feel it when it comes to some of the online video games.
I don't agree with you, and I'll explain why.
Okay.
Um, when a new game comes out, a new big game comes out, usually there's server issues because the developers didn't really put into context the whole thing of people playing the game, I guess. So I understand where you're coming from in that fashion, but I personally feel like the people playing the systems now, um, there's no new games coming out with it. It's not like they're
Well,
like they're not.
well, E3 is around the corner, so that may change pretty soon.
You're right. You're absolutely correct. That may change, but as far as I can tell, there's no like huge titles being announced alongside with it. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't think you're going to see that big of a dip or that big of a problem with their internet service. I really don't. I think they're gonna.
Okay, yeah, no, I definitely, I'm still on the side that, like, when the service comes online, I think that a lot of people are going to get on it, regardless if there's a new big game or not. I think that the servers are going to be impacted on definitely on day one, and Well,
You might
my
see a little.
guess.
You might see a little bit of hiccup, but not. I don't think you'll see that much.
Hmm.
Plus, there are like, dude, like one of the big things I've seen on Twitter after this was announced was like a lot of people being very irritated by it.
Oh,
Mainly with the no virtual console.
that we were talking about actually in the next segment, but like yes,
Yeah.
that
We'll
was
get to that,
yeah for
but yeah,
sure.
like that was. Um, I've seen a lot of people just like not happy about it, and what I'm curious about, Anthony, what I'm really wondering is that right now, when I hop into Splatoon 2
Mm-hmm.
and I go online,
Mm-hmm.
it's everybody. Anybody who has that game is playing that game online.
Right.
And honestly, unless you're just constantly playing the story or salmon run by yourself, there's no way to really enjoy the game without online capabilities.
Yeah.
So how many people are actually going to purchase Nintendo Online? How many people?
I think there's gonna be. I think there's
I hope
gonna
a
be.
lot,
Yeah.
but still.
Yeah. I think there's gonna be a good amount. Like I think that because the pricing is so low compared to the other two, that I think it's at a range where it's very, very, very affordable for a lot of people. Even like the once a month, like it's literally $5 or $4 a month. So like it's at a point where if unless you are really poor, unless you have no means of accessing any money that you cannot afford a subscription service to Nintendo's online service, then you should have the means elsewise to do it. If you want to do it, I can understand people maybe just want to wait maybe a month just to make sure that whatever server issues that may occur during the launch or the first iteration of the online service for Nintendo Switch, to then jump on it later to make sure that you have a much better experience.
I
Then that's
get,
fine.
I understand that, but
Yeah.
I'm certainly not doing that. Like it's a day one thing for me.
Yeah.
If I can afford, like if I I have $20 in my bank account and it's like, oh why it goes live now, like I'm going to do that.
Right.
Which we also didn't have a date. Like we didn't
They
get a
said
date.
September. Let me check if they have an official date.
Oh, that's right. We had a window,
Right.
a month window.
Yeah.
So,
They didn't say exactly when. Oh no. Hang on. No. They don't. Yeah. No.
no, it just said September.
Yeah, just September. So
I forgot about that till you said it.
yeah, September is going to be this year. That's when they launch it. So, more than likely, I feel if they're going to, you may not think that there might be there may not be a game that will launch coincide with it. I do think there's going to be a game that will launch with it. I think that this year's E3 will have that date. September.
I hope so.
So
I sincerely hope so. I mean, like I said, I don't. There hasn't been anything announced, but again, we haven't gotten to E3 yet. We haven't seen what's going to come out.
yeah.
And for all we know, Metroid Prime 4 could have a really stellar multiplayer.
I wouldn't hold your breath on that, but
I said could. I said for all I know, it could.
It could. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, like, you know what?
If you say Super Smash Brothers, I could go with you there, but I'm still sticking to my gun, saying that game is coming out later this year in the winter.
Well, you're not wrong. What I'm thinking is if Nintendo Online comes out in September, then that could only mean that Smash comes out late October or November.
Yeah. I agree.
And them saying that, like, oh, man, that would be really smart of them. That would be really clever.
Get pre-order special deals on their online service. They could discount on their online subscription for Smash. That could potentially like lead to big numbers for them. So they could do a lot of things in their favor, which could definitely help them out to definitely make them look good. I mean, the price already is doing that right now. Not to mention that the Switch is like still one of the most popular consoles out there right now. People just love to
Absolutely.
have. So,
well, I think once Nintendo starts doing more in terms of re-releasing old NES, Super NES, Nintendo 64, and GameCube games as like just downloadable singular games you can buy, much like how Xbox is doing their classic games. I think Sony fucked it up, but I I can like literally just mid-April, I went and bought the Xbox title of Republic Commando, Star Wars Republic Commando.
Ooh, yeah.
It was only $10, and I was like, this was a nostalgic game for me, and I went and bought it, and I played it and beat it again because it's fucking fun. If Nintendo can do that with their classic games without having the terrible thing we're going to talk about next hanging over it, oh, pardon me. I think they'll sell, like, it'll be no problem.
Okay. I can definitely see that for sure.
But we need to move on to the next topic so I can talk about it.
Oh yes, of course. Of course, Mr. Greg. Do you want me to also serve you a full platter of something else while I'm at it?
What?